Hi everybody, today I am trying to repair an issue I've been having with the headlights on my 2001 Dodge Ram 1500. The issue I've been having is when I tilt the steering wheel down using the tilt adjustment, the low beam headlights would cut out. They'd come on when I had the steering wheel tilted up all the way up into the raised position, but as soon as I lowered the wheel, the headlights would cut out. Obviously it's a wiring issue, and I'd read on some online forums that a bunch of other people had experienced the same problem. So I have started the process of opening up the steering column. You can already see the wiring harness there, and sure enough I found a wire loose where it connects to this terminal block here. I fiddled around with it with the headlights switch and determined that that's definitely the control for the low beams. So I found the problem. Hopefully I'm about to fix it, but I thought I'd stop now and take some video in case somebody else out there might have the same problem. Hopefully this will help you disassemble. It's really not a hard process. I spent more time going back and forth to the hardware store and auto parts store than I have actually doing the work. I didn't have all the torque screwdrivers that I needed. So anyway, let me take a minute to show how I got to this point, and then I'll make the repair and put everything back together. Okay, the first step I took was to remove this lower cover below the steering wheel. There's 3 Torx screws that hold it in. I believe this one here by my thumb was a T20, and then there's another here by my index finger, and one over here by my thumb. Those were both T15 screws. Once you drop those out, then this cover will come down and expose the wires from the bottom side. I believe the next thing I did was remove this upper section of the cover. To do that, I've already got it removed, but to do that, you will first have to unscrew the tilt lever. It's got a couple notches there, squared off parts of the shaft where you can get a small adjustable wrench on there, and you just unthread it lefty-loosey. You can see where it threads into. Once you get that removed, then this plastic cover that sits right there above the steering column will just lift off. This portion is what screws into the lower portion like that. So once you get those 2 out of the way, then you can basically see what you're working with here. There's also another smaller cover, looks like this, that goes towards the back section of the steering column, and that one had, I believe, 2 Torx screws. It's either a 15 or a 20. I can't remember off the top of my head right now, but one goes there. Get another angle here. And another one goes right there. You pull those out, this will drop down. I removed that just so I'd have some more room to work with. At that point, I couldn't determine which wire was the one that was loose. You'll also see that I've dropped the lower portion of the dash, which is really simple. It's got a couple of post connectors there, one there, and then it's got holes for 3 Phillips head screws along the bottom. So I mean, literally all I did was back those Phillips head screws out, and this whole thing just basically drops down, and that gives you all the space that you need. You could probably do this without removing that, but I thought it would just make life a lot easier. I think it was worth the 10 seconds I spent taking the screws out. So anyway, that gets me to the point I'm at now. Again, this wire was sort of bundled up in that harness, but it was clearly disconnected from the backside of this terminal block. Like I said, I turned the headlight switch on and pushed it in and out, and the headlights would come on and go off. So that's the culprit. The next thing I need to do, I've already sort of started this process, is remove this whole assembly here so I can get to the back side of this terminal and fix the problem. This requires I believe it's a T20 tamper proof. I don't know if you can see on the camera, but it's got the little dot in the middle of the screw head. So you'll need the corresponding tamper proof Torx screwdriver, which is one of the things that I did not have, so I had to go out and buy that. There's a screw up top here. There's another one on the bottom that I've already removed, but it goes right there. Once you get those two removed, this whole thing loosens up and will pull down. So I'm going to finish taking this out and then show you where the wire was connected. Okay, I have got the blinker assembly with all the wires going to it dropped down now. This spot right there by my index finger is where the low beam connects to. I don't know if you can see down in there, but it looks like it's a little blade terminal. What happened was the wire had a connector on the end of it. This is the connector right there. It had a tail on it on this end that crimped onto the wire. Well, the wire had pulled out of the crimp, so this connector was stuck down inside that terminal block. The only way I could get to it was with some needle nose pliers, and in the process of pulling it out, the crimp piece snapped off. So this is not really going to be reusable. I've gone to the auto parts store and got some similar type of connectors. Not exactly the same thing, but they appear to be the same width. I'm hoping that I can crimp one of these back onto the end of the wire and get it to fit down inside the slot in the terminal block, and hopefully that will stay in there good and tight, and I won't have to do this again. An important step that I forgot to mention is make sure you disconnect your battery before you start pulling wires out. You don't want to short something out. I left the battery connected long enough to determine which wire was the culprit, and then once I figured that out, I disconnected it. I don't want to short something or set off an airbag or something like that. So anyway, just make sure you remember to do that. I forgot to mention that earlier, but just be safe. Alright, so I am going to crimp one of those connectors on the end of this wire and see if I can't get it to fit down inside the terminal and hopefully start putting everything back together. I will show the crimp once I get it put on there next. Alright, I've got the new connector crimped on. I discovered that after I crimped it, there's a little plastic collar that goes around the crimp to protect the wire. Looks like that. Once I crimped that on, it wouldn't allow the wire to fit down inside the opening in the terminal block. The collar was catching on the rim of the box there. So I just took some side cutters and clipped that off, and I wrapped it in some electrical tape. So it looks like it fits now. I think I'm going to put it in with my fingers and then probably take a flathead screwdriver and try to press on the edge of the crimp connector and just wedge it down onto the spade, and hopefully it'll grab and stay put. That's going to require two hands to do it, so I'm going to attempt that now and then come back and start putting things together. So I will show you a shot of the wire connected and then show how everything goes back. Okay, I got the wire connector pushed in and had a thought that before I put everything back together, it would probably make sense to test this out and make sure that it's actually making good contact and that the headlights are working. So I temporarily hooked up the battery cable, and now I'm going to test out the headlights. Turn the switch on. I don't know if you can see on the fence there, but the headlights are shining on it. You see them go out, come on, go out. So it's working, thankfully. So I'm going to disconnect the battery again and then start reassembling everything, just in the reverse process of how it came off. So I'll show you the step-by-step of that next.